Hello, everybody. This is February 9th, and February is Black History Month. To celebrate Black History Month and teach you a little bit about Black culture, I'm going to share a quick video first on the birth of hip hop. After that, we'll talk a little bit about the turntable and mixers and what that has to do with hip hop. And then you are going to have an opportunity to kind of have some fun with your own mixer. So first, we're going to watch this short 2-ish minute video on the birth of hip hop.
In August 1973, a young Jamaican-born New Yorker known as DJ Kool Herc threw a party in the South Bronx. With a pair of turntables, he improvised a technique that isolated and repeated musical breaks That technique would lay the foundation for a genre known as hip-hop. Hip-hop music emerged from house parties in the Bronx and spread like wildfire between friends and neighbors at block parties. The new sound was electrifying.
In the schoolyard during recess, someone would have a boombox, and then someone would start rhyming. You didn't have recorded versions of hip-hop at that time.
Within a few years, it had become an underground cultural movement, and its distribution was homemade.
You couldn't purchase albums or records, and you couldn't hear hip-hop on the radio. The only way that you could participate in the culture musically was through these cassette tapes, which would circulate all throughout the city.
As its influence deepened and broadened, the music spread from the underground onto the radio. In 1979, a group from suburban New Jersey released Rapper's Delight, one of the first hip-hop records.
Now what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet.
And the Sugar Hill Gang's hit was just the beginning. As hip-hop evolved, it became a passion shared by millions of young Americans who used it to articulate their identity and their politics, creating a vibrant, multicultural community across the country.
Our generation of young people, we had to find new ways to communicate, just getting on the records and speaking about the truth.
Its lyrics reflected the social and economic conditions of the inner cities as seen through the eyes of the people who lived there.
Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. Say what? It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
I think it was Chuck D who said, it's the CNN of the Black community. It's actually reporting on all of these things that we've experienced in poetry form and musical form.
In 2017, hip-hop surpassed rock as America's #1 stream genre for the first time ever. Decades after its birth, hip-hop has grown from its underground origins in the Bronx to become one of the most popular genres of music throughout the world.
Alrighty. So that video was talking about the birth of hip hop and how now it has overcome rock as one of the most popular genres in the US. But in the last 50 years or so, it's really not just become a popular genre of music, but it's become a skill to be able to create this kind of music, and it's become a part of our culture. Part of the skill aspect of hip hop is being able to mix the music using turntables and mixers. The turntable has been used as a musical instrument since the 1940s and 1950s. And that was just very experimental at that time. And then in the 1990s, we had the role of the DJ, which stands for disc jockey. They were able to play records on the turntable. And as hip hop became more popular in the 90s, these DJs, these disc jockeys, became more skilled. And so our DJs or turntablists were performers and artists. So not only were they spinning these records as a performer, but they were mixing their own music. And they moved records while playing on the turntable, which changed the sound and created new music. So not only were they altering music that already existed, but they were creating new sounds. DJs developed incredible hand-eye coordination, and they were able to drop the needle on the record and pinpoint an exact point in the song, which is amazing. If you know anything about record players, you place a needle on the record while it's spinning and the music will start playing. Well, these DJs were able to drop a needle and know exactly where in the song that would start playing. There was a DJ who went by the name of the Grand Wizard Theodore, and he created scratching, which is the sound made when the record is rubbed back and forth. And this was actually developed by accident. He stopped the record with his hand to hear what his mom was shouting to him, and it created this scratching sound. And I'm sure you're familiar with that, have heard that maybe on TV or in some hip hop songs. And then another technique that came to be was called beat juggling. And that was the most important development that came in hip hop and turntables in the 90s. A DJ would use his mixer and his turntable, and he would switch back and forth between two records that were the same. So it'd be two of the same songs, and he would go back and forth really quickly between both of them, and it would loop them together, and it would combine these individual sounds and create an entirely new beat. And this allowed DJs to go back and forth from just changing music that had already existed and creating completely new music. And they did that with their turntable and their mixers. So again, not only did these turntables play music, but they were used as new musical instruments. Now, hip hop has been on the rise since the 40s and 50s and has really just been on a steep incline since the 1990s. And DJs have completely changed this scene for us. And hip hop is a really accessible genre. A lot of people are able to kind of create and change their own tunes with just some software equipment you can get on your devices. With the rise of hip hop, the role of the DJ has completely changed too, from someone who just played the records at an event to someone who is composing their own music. Now you are all going to get a turn to be DJs. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and you are going to, on your device, after this video, type this in the web browser. So it's just called Incredibox, incredibox.com/demo/. And so this is how you use this. You pick one of these characters. So I'll pick Alive. Oh, can't pick that one. I'll pick Sunrise. And you're gonna mix your own beats. So it's more of like a free turntable type beat mixer. So you're gonna mess around with these beats. You can have up to 8, I believe, and see what kinds of sounds you can put together. It's very simple to use. So we'll play here, and you're gonna combine these different kinds of beats. These are different categories. So you'll just drag one of these icons to one of these people, and it'll start making the sound. If you don't want it there anymore, you can just drag it off. You can drag something else there. You can see what kind of beats you can make combining these different colors and different sounds from these colors. So that is Incredibox.com/demo/ and go ahead and make your own tunes.